What's going on, everyone? Thanks for checking out this Fallout 76 video. This is one that I have been meaning to make for a long time, and that is whether or not the full set of Strangler Heart power armor that you get from the Vault Raid is worth the grind. Let's just say the reason why I haven't gotten around to making this is because I didn't have the full set until recently. As we know, the Vault Raid definitely started out pretty bumpy, so grinding it back then was extremely difficult. There were so many fails over, to keep it simple, bugs in the game. Not technically because we were not good enough, it was just because there were so many delays preventing us from actually completing it. It was just a buggy mess. Now, however, it's gotten a little better, but I will mention it can be still buggy. I'm not exactly sure where to even start with this review over this beautiful power armor. It's amazing looking, I have to admit, and it's extremely powerful. I believe it is the most powerful power armor that you can get in the game. Question is it truly worth it? I'll be answering that in this video. I'm going to try to be as informative as possible because there's not a lot of information out there about this, and there's not many people previewing this power armor either. It's extremely rare to see this in game. Let's just say if you're just wearing this around in the game, you're going to be getting some attention from other players because, once again, not many players have grinded for this. So on that note, I guess I'm going to start off with how much of a grind this really is to get your hands on a full set of this. First off, you're going to have to continue to grind through the Vault Raid continuously until you have all of the power armor plans, which there are a total of 6. The helmet, the torso, the 2 arms, and the 2 legs. So that alone is going to be a grind itself because the rewards are randomized. Not only that, the power armor plans aren't the only thing that you can get from this raid. There's also the regular Vault 94 armor sets as well, the Solar and Thorn. So you're not necessarily getting power armor plans every time you go to complete this on Standard or Expert, which that makes the grind even more tedious. And keep in mind, you can't trade these plans with other players, in case you may be thinking, well, what if my buddy gets one of the plans that I need? That's not going to matter because you won't be able to trade for it. So it's all up to you on getting these plans. And then after you got the plans, the next step is, of course, making the pieces, which the most difficult requirement over creating each piece is the Vault 94 steel, which it's going to take 30 for each piece. So like I mentioned before, there are a total of 6 different pieces, which means you're going to need a total of 180 Vault steel. That is an insane amount. However, with an upgraded Powersmith perk card, which you can find in the intelligence category, you will only require 27 Vault 94 steel to craft each piece, and the other material cost drops to 10 and 9 of each item, which that brings down the total requirement of 162 Vault steel to craft this whole set of power armor. But still, that is a grind to get. To put this more in perspective here, you get 2 Vault steel for completing it on Novice. Novice is extremely simple because it's not timed. Anyways, you get 4 for completing it on Standard. Standard is a bit more difficult because, well, that one's timed. And you get a total of 6 Vault steel for completing it on Expert. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced Expert in the Vault Raid, but let's just say it's no walk in the park whatsoever. I spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours just trying to complete it for my very first time on Expert. It is extremely time consuming. Let's just say if you just walk right in on Expert mode and complete it on your first try, you should definitely consider trying to play the lottery, because more than likely you're going to win. That is some very good luck. It takes a lot of coordination, because the timing on Expert mode, you got to pretty much do it perfectly. You got to know the raid like the back of your hand. So let's just say theoretically, you are able to complete it on Novice, Standard, and Expert. That means you will get a total of 12 Vault steel per day. Keep in mind, you can only get this steel once per day on each difficulty. So basically, you'll just need to keep that up for another 14 days, and bada bing, bada boom, you'll be able to have enough Vault steel to craft a full set. Because, well, 12 times 14 is 168. And once again, if you have the Powersmith perk card on, it's going to require a total of 162 Vault steel. So that'll leave you with an additional 6 extra steel, which means one of those days you don't have to technically complete Expert. But let's just say you don't complete Expert whatsoever. How long is it going to take you then? which I completely understand if you don't want to try to take on expert. It can be extremely time consuming and difficult. So theoretically, if you don't complete expert whatsoever, it's going to take you a total of 27 days. So about a month, because 6 times 27 is 162. Now, let's say you don't complete standard whatsoever and you just want to complete it on novice. Theoretically, if you did it just on novice, that would take a total of 81 days. So about 3 months. That's ridiculous. I highly recommend at least attempting to complete it on standard, because that's going to speed up your process tremendously on actually crafting a full set of this Strangler Heart power armor. It's actually impossible to get any of the plans for this power armor if you're just completing it on novice. You only get Vault Steel from completing it on that difficulty. So yeah, keep that in mind. You're gonna have to complete it on standard at least to get this full set. Okay, so now since we've went into some major detail over what it actually takes to get a full set of the Strangler Heart power armor, now let's go ahead and get into the stats and what makes this power armor so special. Starting off with the stats, as you can see when wearing this, we have 455 damage resistance, 395 energy resistance, and 500 radiation resistance. That is an insane amount of radiation resistance. This power armor can make you an absolute tank during the Vault 94 raid. It is extremely beneficial. Let's go ahead and compare this now to other power armors out there. Starting off with, for example, the Excavator power armor. As you can see, this gives us 242 damage resistance, 242 energy resistance, and 366 radiation resistance. However, I know Excavator isn't really meant for combat. Anyways, up next, as you can see, here's a full set of wearing T45 power armor. T45 power armor gives us 405 damage resistance, 390 energy resistance, and 350 radiation resistance, which makes the Strangleheart power armor still way better. However, comparing this to a full set of Ultracite power armor, as you can see, a full set of Ultracite power armor is just as good as the Strangleheart power armor. The Ultracite has 470 damage resistance, 395 energy resistance, and 393 radiation resistance, making the damage resistance a tad bit better than the Vault 94 power armor. However, if we're comparing numbers here, the full set of the Vault 94 power armor is still better than this Ultracite power armor because it has 500 radiation resistance. Sure, the Ultracite power armor may have 15 more damage resistance, but it still only has 393 radiation resistance. Alright, now to wrap up this review over this power armor, I'm going to go over the special set bonus that you get when you actually get the full set. As you can see up above here when I have it on the power armor rack, it says set bonus 6 out of 6. Adds acid damage to all armed attacks, and nearby enemies take acid damage. Now keep in mind, you're going to have to once again have the complete set for this bonus to actually take effect. And how you can know for sure if you actually have the set bonus with the power armor, you just simply go over to your effects in the stat category. As you can see, it will say Strangler Heart, acid damage plus 50, and it'll also give plus 4 acid damage per second to nearby enemies, which is really awesome. I hope there's more in the future similar to this, where if we complete a full set of something, we'll actually get some kind of special set bonus. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you a few examples over this set bonus effect in action. As you can see, just standing next to this fall crawler here, don't ask me why it's not attacking me. I really have no clue. I think I got stuck on something. But yeah, as you can see, it's just slowly draining away just because it's close to me. Pretty cool. Now here's another example of it in effect against a Scorch Beast. You can tell when an enemy is taking acid damage because as you can see, it'll have this smoke coming off the opponent. I mean, as you can clearly see versing this Scorch Beast, you don't really see nothing but smoke because there's so much acid damage being dealt to the enemy. Here's a few more examples against some scorched enemies so y'all can see it in full effect. So is this truly worth it to grind for? I guess it all depends really on the player. If you have players to play with and you're able to grind through the Vault 94 raid, then yeah, it may be worth it, especially right now because there's not much to do in the game. This is something to go grind for. However, if you don't really have players to play with, obviously, this is not going to be worth it to try to go for. But don't let that get you down too much. As you saw, the Ultrasight Power Armor is just as good as this one. But yeah, I guess that's our wrapping up this comprehensive review over the Strangler Heart Power Armor that you can get out of the Vault 94 raid. I tried to be as informative as possible in this video just because I know how much time it's really going to take to get your hands on. Hopefully this video helps you decide on whether or not you want it. I'm out of here, everyone. Thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. If you found this enjoyable, consider taking a little bit of your time and leaving a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time, though, remember to try to stay safe out there in the wasteland. Peace.